Welcome back to the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. I'm Violet Hausthor, joined this week by Mark Ramone and Paul Wallen. And you just heard Connecticut Valley Field Music doing John Henry. Before that, the Diggs Sisters with Like a Tree. Before that, we had Becky and Nicole with Boast Ye Not. And starting off that block, Highwaymen, I'm on my way. Let's start with John Henry. That's a real traditional old school track.
I think
very unique track.
I think the earliest I've gone back is 1929, maybe, or something like that. So I was trying to find something earlier. It's not going to be easy, but so basically, this is basically what music was like before there was recorded music, right?
Sure.
Yeah, this is army music. It really is in a lot of ways. And apparently, this is transcribed from an old field recording, which is very cool, honestly.
Just so everybody knows, not a field recording from the 1800s, but
yeah.
But this is basically what music was like in the 1800s, or unless you went to, you could go to watch an orchestra or something, watch Beethoven.
Or the opera houses, yeah.
Yeah.
But this was the military music of its time. Interesting stuff.
It's cool. And then we had the Diggs Sisters with Like a Tree. And who doesn't love Kamaya Diggs? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
The sister trio is just beautiful, and this really took me back to my early church going days as a child. Really terrific.
Mm-hmm. Out of Northampton, Massachusetts, and the Connecticut Valley Field Music's out of Marlborough, Connecticut. But Like a Tree is a traditional spiritual, but the Diggs Sisters actually arranged this track, and I hear the work that went into that arrangement. The vocal arrangement here is really top-notch, second to none. I've spent time studying that stuff, and it's really hard to arrange vocals that well, but they very much pull it off.
Yeah, and this is from their trio album, Home Home, which came out in 2018.
It's like the only time they've gotten together and recorded music singing together. They've sang together, probably plenty of times growing up, but this is like the first time they did it together. And I think it's cool that Kamaya grew up singing with her sisters and found herself in the facets of jazz, opera, and Corsican music. I had to look it up.
No, Corsican music's cool. It's a unique scene.
Corsica is a little island outside of France. I had to look up.
Yeah, they have some very unique classical traditions there. I really like it, but
yeah, it was really popular in the 70s, I guess.
1870s as well.
And Becky and Nicole, Boast Ye Not.
Whoa.
That's some traditional music from Northampton, Massachusetts.
It's amazing. Are you kidding me? That's one thing that you might not know about me is that I have a weirdly passionate love of sea shanties and that sort of traditional style. And that is part of where this music comes from, is the sort of sea shanty tradition of one person singing the melody and everyone else following them along with those hooks. It's really good. It just gives me chills every time in the right way.
This is just like a musical time capsule. It's really great.
Mm-hmm.
Boast Ye Not was composed by their friend Allison Steele, who's also from the area. And Allison wrote this as a shape note song, but we think it works great. They think it works great as a camp meeting song too.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that the text of the refrain comes from an epitaph that she found on an old New England gravestone.
That feels about right. New England gravestones do tend to have those things on them. I've seen a few.
Very, very creative and talented. I love it.
And then starting off, Highwaymen.
Wow.
From originally formed in Wesleyan out in Middletown, Connecticut. I'm on my way. Now that is that classic late 50s, early 60s sound.
Yeah. And it seems like we never stop finding great talent that comes out of Wesleyan University too.
True. It's a classic. That is an absolute classic. And the Highwaymen also happen to have made the first recording of the track Universal Soldier by Buffy St. Marie, also from the area. So
Yeah.
a second local connection.
When I first found this band, I just saw a lot of covers that they were doing, and I wasn't sure that I could play because we play original music. But I did find a couple. So this is originally written by one of the members. Like some of the songs, though, they made popular that got to the top of the charts was Cotton Fields and Universal Soldier and All My Trials, Big Rock Candy Mountain. At first, it seemed a bit disingenuous for a group of privileged young guys from the late 50s, early 60s be singing a song about picking cotton. But I also give them credit because prior to that, Cotton Fields was an overlooked song by Leadbelly, who you would expect to be singing the song, but people like Leadbelly didn't get a lot of radio play back then. So if it wasn't for these guys, that song may never have been known to the rest of us, which is a classic song.
So what do we have next?
Here's our protest set. Let's start it off with Speaker for the Dead. Sounds like a protest. And stop. Pause.